Hi, it's Michelle from Inspired by Michelle Cake Designs. I often get asked how I get my straight edges on my cakes. So what I'm doing is doing a 3-part series where I'm showing you how I make my chocolate ganache, because all my cakes actually have chocolate ganache underneath them. The second video will show you how I ganache my cakes, so you can see the surface that I've got that I put my fondant on top of, and then I'll show you how I cover them and how I manipulate the 2 cake smoothers to make the sharp edge. Chocolate ganache is chocolate and cream. In Australia we use pure cream, that's the name on the carton. It's 35% milk fat, so just look for your cream in your country that has that amount of milk fat and you'll get the same result. Everyone's chocolate is different. I use a chocolate that I enjoy eating, so this is quite a good quality dark chocolate, and I've got white chocolate ganache. So all my cakes have either white or dark chocolate layers and then covered in ganache, or if it's marble they have both. I use the proportions. I use, for every 900 mils of cream, I use 2 lots of 900 grams of dark chocolate. So it's 1 part cream to 2 parts dark chocolate. And when I'm making white chocolate ganache, because white chocolate, which isn't chocolate, is actually a lot softer to eat, so if you bite into white chocolate, it's softer to eat than the dark chocolate. So I use 3 parts white chocolate to 1 part cream. So in this case I put in 900 mils of cream, and then I weigh out 3 lots of 900 grams of the white chocolate. So to start, I should actually say I'll make this in the microwave. The traditional way of making ganache is you heat the cream up to just below boiling point. You grate your chocolate very finely or chop it very finely, then you pour the cream on top. I make a lot of ganache each week, so this week I'm actually making 8 lots. That's just too time consuming for me, so I'm just making it in the microwave. I use full power, but if you're not used to using the microwave, then please just use medium and take a little bit more time. So to start with, I have my chocolate and cream weighed out, and I just fold through the cream just so all the surface is covered. So because the heat will attract to the liquid faster than it will to the chocolate itself. Okay, so now I'm going to go and put this in for 2 minutes. And what I do each of these for 2 minutes. So in fact, this one will be sitting for a few minutes, which will help soften it. So if you're just making one batch, give yourself some time in between, because like anything in the microwave, the heat continues on. If you overcook your chocolate and you burn it, you cannot save it. You need to start from scratch. So it's better to be a little bit cautious than just to go straight in and do it. I use a spatula because as the chocolate starts to melt, I need to get all that chocolate off the side and the bottom. Any chocolate that's not melted will cause the chocolate ganache to seed later on when it's set, which can be saved. Unlike when it's burnt, it can't. But you don't want that hassle, so you need to get it off. Later on you can use a whisk to fine tune it. Do not use a wooden spoon. Never use a wooden spoon when dealing with chocolate. Moisture can stay in the timber or the wood of the wooden spoon, and moisture will, it's just a rule, don't use wooden spoon. The moisture will help seize the chocolate, so you don't want any moisture in here at all. Having said that, I'm looking at cream and chocolate, but different thing. Just don't use a wooden spoon when dealing with chocolate. Okay, I'm just going to go and put these all in for 2 minutes. I'll show you the next step and then we'll continue from there. Okay, now just ignore the microwave noise you can hear in the background. I just want to show you, this is how it comes out. And chocolate doesn't change shape when you heat it, so it can be quite deceptive. So this has been in for 2 minutes, and as soon as I bring it out, I don't actually stir it at this stage, but I want to try and get it moving a little bit and try and get most of it under the cream if I can. This is still quite cool. The cream came directly out of the fridge, so there's not a lot of heat in this at this stage. But as you can see, the outside edge has heated up, so we just need to get that down. And then I just push the bits that are out. I don't want to play with it at this point, so that one I've done, and that's where it's at. So then these will go back in for another 2 minutes once I've done the other white. Okay. Okay, this is how it's come out after another 2 minutes. This one I've mixed like I did before. Again, you're just swirling it around, trying to get all that chocolate underneath. It's like a very slow melting process. White chocolate ganache is always so much easier to make. It's not as temperamental, purely because it's not chocolate. This is a good quality dark chocolate. The problems that can happen is if you don't melt every single tiny bit of chocolate in this, when you set it, which I'll show you what we're going to do at the end, and you go to use it the next day, the ganache will be all grainy. You can totally redo this process, reheat it and chill it again, and it'll be fine. It just means you can't do your cakes when you wanted to. But if you burn the chocolate, like if you overheat it, so this is now cool to touch, you cannot save burnt chocolate. So that's it, that's all underneath, and I will give that another 2 minutes, and I'll actually use the spatula next time so we can mix it through, and this will be all nice and soft. Okay, it's had another 2 minutes. As you can see, the white chocolate one's on the same journey as the dark chocolate. So this is how it comes out. Just give it a bit of a swirl. It's quite warm to touch, but it should never be really hot, otherwise you're going to overheat the chocolate. So now it's a matter of incorporating everything together till it's silky smooth. Now the reason I'm using the spatula is you want to get rid of any chocolate that's hard up against the wall, because if that's not mixed into the cream, then that is what we'll see later on. So it's just a matter of being patient and mixing it together. It'll still need some more time in the microwave after this. I'll show you the one that I've just mixed, but it'll only take 1 minute, and then I'll use the whisk. The white chocolate I should have added was, it can take a little longer because you've got 3 parts of chocolate to 1 part cream, whereas this is only 2. So you might be able to do the first 2 lots at 2.5 minutes rather than just the 2. And really the whole aim of this is to show you the consistency, because your chocolate is going to be different to mine. So instead of just having this fixed recipe that you're reading, if I can visually show you what it is I'm working with, I think that's going to make it a lot easier for you. So you can see this still needs a little bit more time, but remember that it needs to sit for a couple of minutes to continue softening. You can see there's still some cream there that isn't mixed in completely. So before you put it in for the final burst, just make sure that is all through. Okay, and that's the white one telling me it's ready. So I'll come back and I'll show you the final. I'll put these in for 1 minute each, and then I'll show you the final consistency. Okay, now I've finished with the microwave. Actually, you've given the chocolate 1 more minute, and the white chocolate I think had an extra 2.5. This is the consistency, which is the whole point of the video. That's the consistency of the white. There's no more lumps. What you can see are actually air bubbles. So you can see the difference between an air bubble and a lump is that an air bubble will actually come and stretch and burst as you bring it up. So you know that's not actually a lump. With white chocolate, it'll still be white, so it'll be very easy to see. With dark chocolate, it's harder. You actually need to check that it's actually an air bubble and not a lump of chocolate. So that's the consistency of the white. This is now left to set at room temperature, and then I store it in the fridge. Then it's taken out again the next day, brought back up to room temperature, and then it's softened to the consistency at which I use it, which is what you'll see in the next video. And that's probably the most critical thing. What I'm going to do now is just finish this off with the whisk, because it's just that bit faster. If you are making ganache to pour over a cake, you would not use a whisk because you do not want any air bubbles in it. For ganaching a cake, as in layering a cake and covering a cake, it doesn't matter because we're actually going to whip it again. So again, what you can see here is air bubbles, and I move it around and stretch, and I can see that they're all stretching and bursting, and there's not actually any lumps of chocolate left in there. But you can see it's glossy, and you need to keep mixing until everything's completely uniform, so that you don't see any streaks. Once you think you've got it mixed, mix it for another minute. That way you can be certain. The temperature of this is no warmer, it's only just slightly warmer than blood temperature. So if you stick a clean finger in, you'll be able to feel that, and it should just feel slightly warm to your finger. So you're not actually overheating the chocolate in the microwave, because if you think of the traditional way of doing it, of bringing the cream to almost to the boil and adding it to the chocolate, there's no other heat added to it, so does not get hot. So that's basically it. Once it's now cooled at room temperature, I cover it, then I leave it in the fridge and bring it out in the morning and bring it up to room temperature, and that's when I'll see you in the second video. Thanks a lot. Bye.